we don't quite know what it is. And it's been interesting. It was quite tortuous to start with, to get interest and get it going. We've been going, I guess, 3 months, and in the last 6 weeks it's really gathered pace. People have started talking about it internally, people are getting together to submit ideas. So, at the very least, I think it's created a lot of engagement. For a company that's quite task-orientated, suddenly we're saying it's okay to think outside the square. And people are really beginning to see the value of that. So that's what we're about.
Is it a big organisation?
300 people.
So you've got everybody involved in the programme?
Well, everybody's able to be involved. Not everybody's been involved. But interestingly, well, I think it's interesting. Australia, we've got offices in Australia, Asia and the UK, based here. Australia was very quick to respond. Asia, like Hong Kong and so on, came last. London have been very slow to respond.
Interesting.
I don't know what that means. I was surprised because London is a hotbed of innovation. So I'm sure it's not a comment on London, it's something else.
But Australians are naturally early adopters, so they like to see the first thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas London have everything available, so they mightn't be as interested.
could be. Yeah. So it's a bit of fun, and as I say, at the very least, it's great staff engagement.
There's already been some interesting ideas.
Yeah.
As you said, it's smaller ideas that are business process improvement, that kind of thing that we'll definitely adopt, which is great.
How are you managing all those ideas? How are you managing them?
So we've purchased a bit of software from a company called OnePage, which was designed for recruitment, but they've kind of adapted it to be used for innovation programs. So we've launched a challenge basically, and people can submit their idea on this bit of software, constrained to one page, answering 3 or 4 questions. So that's been quite good. I think it's given it an air of independence. We've also got 2 independent judges who are not employed by us, but are happy to give their time. So that's good too.
Have you come across an organisation called Workshop? They're a start-up in Fishburners at the moment, and I saw them pitch last Friday. They're in the recruitment space. They may well be a competitor of yours, but they've got some really innovative ideas.
Okay.
So,
Work
Shape.
Basically, their pitch is around when you place somebody into a new team, it's very much what's the dynamic of the team and who's the existing people there.
Yeah.
Now, how they actually get into the group of who knowing how the team works and then what the new candidate's going to be like, that's their secret sauce, which I don't understand. Hopefully they'll be able to explain it. But it's all around fitness for purpose, fitting people into a team.
Interesting. I'll definitely look. Thanks.
You were both from Ambition. I think I was writing on the board when right, with kind of the early part of it done, I'd like to just kind of hand over the field to you. The founder and CEO of Pollenizer. Just to maybe give a bit of an update as to what Pollenizer's been up to, the latest happenings.
We could get you a pitch, Bill. You could do the 1 minute.
Yeah. 1 minute.
Eat out.
So that's a formal part of the proceedings done now. It's open conversation.
Yeah, no big step. Buying dog food. Right. So Pollenizer exists to create new growth in big companies, and that's come from 8 years eating our own dog food, making our own companies, risking our own capital, and having to learn ways of removing some of that risk, and finding that we've developed some sort of system that we call startup science. And we now offer that capability to some of the world's biggest organisations, and that might be governments, or it might be very large companies who, precisely because they're very large companies that do really well at scale, they're very, very bad at starting new things. But the time is right for Pollenizer right now, the service that we offer, because Things are changing so fast now. Scale is not how you survive. You can only survive with speed, and you need to survive by having a constant process of renewal. So constantly making new things, accepting that the old things will die, and that needs a different way of working, and that's what we deliver to big companies. So we work with the federal government. We run the CSIRO program, which has been very inspiring for all of us. We're working with the world's biggest dairy company right now. That's what Nicola and Tim are working on. We've found that our work has moved from being purely digital to really everything, because everything is digitally being disrupted right now, and that's where we help. So we help companies focus on the how, how to do it, what you do when you go to work every day.
Do you have a standard methodology? Or is it a framework that you...
Yeah, so what we call what we do startup science. And basically what's at the heart of it is that it's like being a scientist to actually get evidence, but it's evidence around your business model. So we match the fire in the belly that you have to have as an entrepreneur with a predictable process and methodology that you can go through. And it's a combination of things that's just simply best practice, like lean startup, design thinking, etc., to some other things that we've kind of made reproducible just based on our own learning. So one of the big things right now that's been transformative is we have this whole area of work that we call the massive, and it gets founders focused on how big could this be. You know, how if you just sort of take it all the way into orbit, how big could the idea be, and then what's your path to getting there? And that's been very, very powerful to get people, getting out of their box and developing new ideas. But it's everything from how do you stimulate culture, what do you do every day as a habit, how do you think of a strategy around that? As a big company, how do you fund it, and how do you manage risk when actually you don't want to take any? All these sorts of things. So just every engagement we have, we learn some new things. So at CSIRO right now, we're learning. So I'll give 2 examples. At Fonterra, I have this bit of one of the talks I give, which is meant to show everybody how fast the world's changed and how we all do things we didn't used to do. And I say, put your hand up if you've ever shared a photo on the internet. This is the moment where everyone puts their hand up, right? Put your hands up, you guys are. And so in this room, who's shared a photo on the internet? All right, so that's what's supposed to happen, right? I did that at Fonterra with 120 people, and 8 people put their hand up. And I went, no, it's okay, guys, you can put your hand up. And I went, no, really, I just So that same team has now generated like 550 ideas. They founded 550 new startup ideas, and we've put that through a funnel to 11. So we've had to get very good at how do you get someone that understands milk to understand how to make a new startup. With CSIRO, we didn't even understand what some of the ideas were. So they're deeply scientific, super specialist, but amazing things. And in fact, the one that I just literally didn't understand when we started working on it is it could actually reduce greenhouse gases in the world by 20%. Like, now I understand it. Oh, that's a startup. That's amazing. So we're having to learn how to turn those ideas into commercial businesses, and how you get to things like a scientist to think like an entrepreneur. So we learn new skills every time, and then they really improve.
And you use only team members from the companies that you're working on, or do you bring in team members?
So there's a mixture, and so one thing is we do believe that you can innovate from inside a company with employees. So some people think that's not possible. It's the wrong people in the wrong context. The secret is to make the right context around it. That's what brings people, puts people in the right place. So in the case of IRT, actually, it's just take those